And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in the Long Dark, but we're going to go attempt to work on the second tale today. Quick once over on inventory, I suppose we'll head off. Probably should change the antibiotics we're bringing with us, because the ones we've got are actually kaput. Same with, well, these painkillers as well. Otherwise, equipment-wise, I think we're decently ready to go. Let's see if we can shove that last little dribble of oil in the lantern. There we go. You know, I think these are... So if I go over here and just drop them on the floor somewhere, if I find them later, and if they are actually good, we'll use them. Otherwise, they'll just be forgotten in the corner. That'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, we could use more antibiotics. We fill up on food, travel food, and then head over to the garage. Let's pass a little bit of time. I think the weather out there is pretty nasty, so we're going to want to be quick about it once we do go outside. But yeah, this stream is mostly probably going to be traveling. The place I want to go is all the way out in the far territories. And there's a couple things we'll bring with us, but mostly it's just going to be trying to safely travel from one place to another. We can see Sutherland's boat out there, because we did a trade in the last part. We're coming down here mostly... I'll grab a couple of pickles. But mostly to grab the oats. That's probably good. And then this should be empty. Off we go. Next stop, camp office. And it looks like we'll take a little bit of damage on the way to the camp office. Not going to duck back into the house here to warm up. We're just going to go straight to the camp office. The weather is good looking, even though it's cold. We'll just take a little bit of damage getting to the camp office because it'll be easy to get there in this weather.
My fingers feel numb.
Well, I assume I have... Okay. Got 6 coal, 1 stick. We're carrying a bunch of food, and that's probably fine. Just means we'll have to pick up fuel as we go along. Let's get past most of the good fuel stockpiles. Or good food stockpiles.
So cold.
Yeah, if we're able to travel efficiently, we'll probably get to somewhere in Mystery Lake area this episode. Next episode, we'll probably be getting out to Broken Railroad. Maybe out into the Transfer Pass area, we'll see. And then from there, we'll go... Well, then it's Transfer Pass. The farther we're getting into the future, the less known the travel times are going to be, I suppose, because the weather will inevitably go bad. And then we'll travel... Well, the travel will slow down a bit. I haven't done... Well, I hadn't done the first Tales either, but I haven't even watched anyone do the second one. So I suspect the second one will take a little bit longer, though I believe the second one is fully contained within the contamination zone. So it's fully located to one zone, which might make it go a little faster. I also don't know what any of the objectives are, or how to safely move around that area. Oh, that reminds me. Somewhere I've got chemical boots. Forgot where I left them. We should take those with us if we're going out there. Because we can, well, what we'll probably do is probably swap out to those and wear those out. Got some sticks here if you're desperate for sticks. We're not. We came here mostly to grab the canister. This is the quest line where we want the canister. Quick once over the stuff we have over here. Painkillers, one ruined, a couple not, but not any antibiotics. We're looking for antibiotics, supposedly. There's antibiotics. 6 pills, we'll take that. Okay, and let's get back under our carrying capacity. We're a little over right now. Best way to do that is probably to drop 1. I'm surprisingly heavy if we're only carrying... Well, that's 4 kilograms of stuff, but I'm surprised that's enough to get us heavy. Oh, we got like 4... Let's drop the... Don't need quite so many charcoal. It's maybe an argument to have some, but not. We don't need that many. Wait, that's probably good enough. Let's pass enough time to warm back up. And then off we go again. Down the road we go. We're a little overweight, but as we travel, we'll probably get a little bit lighter. We'll see how far down the road we can get to Mystery Lake without getting cold. The answer might not be very far. As soon as we're about halfway to what, log sort, and we're already about half cold. We are going to stop to warm up. The weather is good looking, it's not necessarily warm. And I'm more concerned about trying to retain condition for dealing with whatever unusual conditions we run into in the contamination zone, rather than stubbornly holding on to being quickly traveling in the good weather. Well, good looking weather.
Goddamn freezing.
Should make pretty decent time because we are going to basically be bouncing from food stockpile to food stockpile on the way out. So we don't need to stop to hunt or anything. Back in here. I think we do want to recover a little bit of fatigue. So we'll sleep for an hour. In theory, not sleeping for an hour could have passed time for an hour, which would have had the same rough effect without giving us the recovery on the fatigue. Oh, the wind conditions changed. It's now in our face. I think the base temperature might have gotten a little bit better, but the wind chill is definitely worse. One thing we can do, if I ever get hungry along the way, is we could stop, make a fire, and make some porridge. Because I know where the food is in the local area, we're going to try to go off of the local food, so we can bring as much food with us. At least as far out as Broken Railroad. Might be a little more proactive at consuming the food I'm carrying once we get to Broken Railroad. Well, that's a weird divot. I think I stifled that sneeze while I had the mic muted there. So if you're wondering why there was a sudden quiet bit there when I wasn't chatting up what's going on, that's because I felt like I had an oncoming sneeze. Once again, we're approaching an area where we're thinking of warming up. We're not going to sleep for a full hour here. Just going to pass time quickly enough once inside to get to full warmth. There we go, full warmth, on our way we go. Ah, much better weather. Early afternoon, part of the warmest part of the day. See how much distance we can make in this weather. Keeping ear out for the wolves, as I know they're nearby. Or deer. Looks like a wolf. So we'll pick up a little bit of bear meat, and then we'll wander up the river back into Mountain Town, or back into Mystery Lake if everything goes according to plan. There's the meat pile, so there's the uncooked pile, here's the cooked pile. Quickly down a whole cooked piece, and a partial. Let me drink some water. And in theory, we're now actually under our carrying capacity, so we should be going full speed. We're counting for the wind. I think we're making good time. Oh yeah, I think it will be somewhere in the Mystery Lake area where we put the part break in. We're about halfway there, and it's used about half the time for the episode. Try to keep the episode 30 to 40 minutes long. Well, that's a question. I think the answer is I'm still going to stick to a 4-part schedule, but a little tempted to go up to 5 because we got an early recording session today, but I think we'll just record 4 parts. Right now I'm doing a 4-game, 4-night cycle, so I'm usually recording 4 parts a night. So, to be fair, that means for tonight, that's probably mostly going to be us traveling out. We're probably not going to be having a lot of time on... Oh, a lot of time in the contamination zone. That is the plan for tonight. So we're going to have 4 parts, broken 30-40 minutes long, getting the contamination zone and seeing what we can explore within those 4 parts is basically the plan for tonight. Little tempted to do 5, that gives a little more time tonight at the contamination zone. Would also in theory give me space to put a 5th game in rotation, but I think we're going to stick to 4. If you watch this the day that this is supposed to go live on YouTube, I think Factorio is still running on YouTube, because I recorded that one a little bit further ahead than the other ones. But Factorio at this point is done. And the drop to the 4-game, 4-night cycle was actually me basically dropping the Factorio day from the cycle. Hasn't actually affected really the uploads to YouTube yet because it was getting so close to the end that I was sort of like, I want the end to be ended with Factorio. Because Factorio, unlike this, well, I suppose maybe this game will be like that, we'll see. But Factorio, unlike this game, has a very definitive, you've won. And then you've won standpoint of the game, it was kind of where I thought I was. I didn't feel like anyone was really there to watch me try to mega base, because I don't think I was doing a particularly great job of mega base. I made way too many mistakes. But yeah, so if you want to watch in a Factorio, look, Factorio run, I believe that ends on the 20th. So this is going up on the 15th. So in fact, everything that's being streamed tonight should go up, I believe, before Factorio ends on YouTube. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying the Long Dark content, but we'll continue. At least until we die. Because that's the plan with Long Dark, is either we die. The run's going to be long enough that if the run ends, because it's a permadeath game, the run is not being restarted at this point. So the ending for the Long Dark is we die. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Or we have some objectives. Right, I want to do the tails up. It'll be my first time doing the tails, so that's actually the thing most likely to kill us is we get in over our head and get like jumped by wolves or something in the far territories. Or seeing if we complete the tails, right? This is 3 tails, we complete the first of the 3. And the trader quest, we complete the trader quest. At that point, it will basically be just seeing if we get out to 1,000 days. That, as you probably could see from the fishing we did a couple days, well, fishing 2 parts ago. We can definitely pass time real fast if we're knuckling down to like making food and passing time. Basically sit in the fishing hut and fish. Like that wouldn't be too hard. So if we end up finishing all the tails, we will probably push out to 1,000 days. Probably meaning the run will, at that point, end to the 1,000 days. Or 500 if we end up cheating death at some point to survive the tails. Yeah. And the tails might be something that will... this run has gone long enough that obviously I'm not turning it over, so I probably will be willing, if not prone, to doing the cheat death to see if we can keep going. Depends on where cheat death dumps us. Dumps me in... Black Rock area, we might be in a little bit of a bind, because we don't have any supplies pre-positioned out there. And I think the location I'm most likely to die is going to be in one of the 2 tails areas, so it's like real long walk from our original supplies where we drop and where we end up. Yeah, we're making real good time. Didn't even need to stop at the location I normally stop to warm up on the path through the ravine area. I suspect at the current rate we'll actually make it most of the way across Mystery Lake area. Gonna try to keep the head a little on the swivel as we go through here. Looking for birch bark. There's a piece. No, that's not a piece, that's a campfire. Those are 2 different things. Yeah, we got the first of 5 trader quests complete. We got the first of 3 of the regular tails complete. And the plan for today in the stream is to get back out to the far territories to start the second one. I think the second and the third one are completely located within the far territories, so depending on how quickly they can be done, gosh, how much I sort of spoil myself, we may do those over the next couple of parts. See how long the supplies last once we get out there. Not being particularly lucky with the birch bark. Which usually is around about when I start complaining that I'm not finding birch bark that I find some. And a torch, not what we're looking for. There's a birch bark. We're about to pass one of my piles of meat, which is why we took this detour. We eat a little bit of meat and then keep going. And yeah, we're making real good time. Next place to stop and check. Oh, I'll jump in the dam quickly. Because right now we're looking for chemical boots. I think I probably left the chemical boots. Well, there's a whole bunch of different places I could have left it. Might have left it in the dam, might have left it in camp office, might have left it in trappers. And if I didn't leave it in any of those three places, it's not anywhere along the path we're about to go anyway. Which means I'm probably not gonna bother to find it at that point. If we haven't found it, then we're not gonna go locating it. But yeah, if we find it, we'll swap our deer hide boots out for the chemical boots and leave the deer hide ones behind for a moment. They're about the same stats, but you can't repair the chemical boots. In theory, the chemical boots are also more resistant to the chemicals in the contamination zone. Hence why I'm thinking about swapping to them. So we can also check these two cabins as well. We got hides here. We don't need. So we don't need. Yeah, the deerskin boots. They could be repaired, but we're not desperate for repair. And the weather's good, so I'd rather keep moving than spend time repairing the boots. We're coming here to check things, not do things. Yep. Nope. So we can check the dam. It'd be basically this first room in the dam. If it isn't there, we'll head over to the camp office. It probably isn't at the camp office. I think we were there recently, and I didn't see any boots around. But so we got a worn survival blow. There's a couple shots in that bow left. I think it's like 11 maybe shots left. Yeah, looks like no boots here. There is a wolf hide. How goes my wolf pants? Oh, the wolf pants are basically fine. More likely to want to repair the pants than or the boots than the pants. Okay, next stop, assuming the weather continues to hold, is the camp office. And to be fair, at this point, the next stop, even if the weather does go squarely, is probably the camp office. The biggest shame about this is we got good weather, which means we're probably not going to have good weather for the next long leg, which will be crossing the Muskeg. Deer. I was trying to recognize if the moving shape was a deer, wolf, or moose. I think they moved the moose spawn. The moose spawn used to be down there. I think it's over that way now. We've seen it a couple times over there since the wildlife refresh. And, well, actually, I don't think we've ever seen it down on the save down there. We have seen it over at the camp office. The trapper's cabin. Prior to the wildlife refresh. I haven't seen it since the wildlife refresh, which is where I'm thinking it's been moved. With the wildlife refresh. Again, we got some meat here. We're not gonna... In this case, we're not gonna stop to eat it. That's a wolf. Don't think it's noticed us, so we can casually walk up the hill over here. I do have a food pile at the Trapper's Cabin, so the plan is to go to camp office. We'll check the inventory at the camp office, then we'll go over to Trapper's, do a check there, feed the character, maybe even give the character a full night's sleep. See how fatigued the character is at that point. That'll be where I think the part break will be. I think we'll go all the way to the camp office, or I feel like it's a good point for the part break. Well, I say I try to keep these 30 to 40 minutes. I tend to keep these on the longer end of the 30-40 minutes. Maybe a full episode. Okay, entering into another area where we can see birch bark. Though, being able to see birch bark up here and actually seeing birch bark up here are not always the same thing. Up here, I'm usually not seeing a lot. It tends to be like 1 or 2 pieces. And now I'm seeing a bunch of sticks. There's a piece of birch bark. Maybe I'm misspotting some of the birch bark as sticks. Oh, that was a double stacked piece of birch bark. Well, the usual quota of birch bark you get in here has already been met. It's only been 1 spot, but that's usually the amount of birch bark I get. And we're out of the area where the birch bark spawns at this point. This part is not... Well, I travel along here quite a bit. I don't think this bit's actually meant to be traveled. This is the path I tend to refer to as following the ridgeline. It doesn't technically run exactly along the ridge. Technically following like one side of the ridge, but... This is a path I take, and it's a path that's reasonably safe. The worst you usually get is the sprain. The sprain risk is pretty low here, as you can see. Granted, I've got crampons on, right? So the crampons are helping as well. Okay, hopping into the camp office, looking around to see if we see any boots. None in this section, none in that section. We got a bunch of teas here, and these are the cans we came. I had 4 more cans here last stream that we used for the test. Oh, we got a box of cereal. Yeah, we used for the test. For can opening test. Yep, looks like at least not downstairs. We'll check upstairs quickly. Again, the weather is good, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. We're going to focus mostly on traveling. So I think at the trappers we will actually take the long rest to recover our fatigue. We are coming up on dusk, and dusk is when the weather's gonna, when the cold's gonna start to creep in. It is quite a distance from trappers to Broken Railway. We don't really want to stop in the middle of the muskeg. I suppose I could hug the top wall. Which would probably be what I was doing, what I would do if the weather was bad. We hugged the south wall to check the River's Cache on the way back last time. But on the way out, I think we will either go straight across or take the top wall. We'll see how the weather looks. Straight across is, of course, the fastest. But well, you want the weather to be reasonable, because there's no good wind protection once you've committed to it to get warming. So it tends to be an all or nothing travel. Yeah, there's a couple caves I could use along the north side. There's a couple caves along the south side as well that I can use. But nothing really in the middle of the muskeg, which is why if you're taking the shortcut, you want to be quick about it. I think there's vaguely... Well, there's the railway going across horizontally, and then sort of perpendicular to that, if you know which islands to weave between. There's a safe way that you can sort of go north-south across the middle of it as well. The problem is if a fog or whatever rolls in the middle of that crossing, ugh. The railway's easier to follow than the islands through the middle. Once more, you can see birch trees. So this is another area where we can find birch bark. Again, I tend to find 2, maybe 3 pieces here, usually. If I haven't been through recently. And there's the second one. So hit the area's usual quota. Sometimes we get lucky and get a third. As I say, speak of the devil and you may see him. Or it. Or her. In this case it's birch bark, so it's definitely an it. But yeah, made it all the way across Coastal Highway, a ravine, and basically across Mystery Lake. So, as far as one recording goes, very productive in travel time day. I suppose for a character day, it's a pretty productive day. The weather has been playing along. We'll see if the rest of the trip goes so nicely. So, next to the cabin over here,
Can't feel my feet.
we should have a meat pile. With some of the snowbank changes, I think some of it might have actually been hidden by the snowbank. Granted, I then saw a patch note saying that they may have fixed that exactly. Which, if that's the case, that's nice. I didn't put a bug report in for it, but, well, I don't think I'm the only one that leaves meat there, so someone else probably did. Here's the trapper's homestead with the trapper's cabin on it. And here's my meat pile. Okay, the meat pile is a little dilapidated, but it's a meat pile.
Too much stuff to carry.
Okay, let's light the lantern, so if the boots are in here, we can see them better. So we got a moose hide. I see no boots. So the answer is I probably left them someplace else weird. Thinking about it, I probably left them out in Pleasant Valley. More birch or more maple saplings there. Find myself. Okay, well, let's put out the lantern. We're gonna go ahead and feed the character. Hydrate the character and give him his deserved rest. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying. There will be another part up tomorrow. This is where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to mute the mic for a short period between breaks. Just give myself a little bit of time to sip a little bit of tea, and then we'll get right back to recording. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now.